really pleased to be here. I want to talk to you about some of the work we've been doing for the past couple of years on new materials and trying to rethink about some of our products and new applications. So we like to show this first slide because actually kind of shows a diversity of different products that we are in right now. So we're doing things all the way from clean tech, areas like smart windows and solar, lots of stuff in consumer electronics and also in the biomedical space, and some of the world's first flexible electronic devices that were commercialized are using our materials well. So I have to go through the quick kind of corporate overview stuff and give you a little flavor of what we're doing. So really we do again see ourselves as an advanced materials company. We make nanomaterials, so primarily silver nanowires. We then take them, we purify them, formulate them into various types of inks. And in many cases, actually, we'll move even downstream and do like coatings to actually produce films on various different substrates, depending on what the final industrial application is. So we were kind of lucky to be selected in many, as I mentioned, of the world's first flexible electronic devices, including the Royal FlexPi. Nubia is actually a smart watch phone combined together. And many of these large area whiteboards, Hisense and some others, have also incorporated our technology, mostly for transparent touch in these applications. And then very recently, our technology integrated into multi-millions of devices. One of the world's largest consumer electronics companies that integrate our technologies. So of course we can't mention who they are, but they've really bet, we think, quite heavily on this nanowire technology, and we have multiple other projects with them and others that look like them. And we're moving into, as I mentioned, interesting things in the biomedical space and in the automotive space, and I'll talk about the automotive applications towards the end of the talk. This is what the company looks like. We're a spin out of Stanford University's Chemical Engineering Department. Those of you in print electronics probably know Jinan Bao. She's one of the co-founders. Very well known in this space. We have raised about $75 million from mostly from strategic investors and corporate venture capital. We have a large patent portfolio to protect all these various different types of technologies. And I mentioned, we're most proud of the fact we've been able to really take this material and really scale it from a lab to millions of devices and millions of square feet of material produced. And I'll show you a little bit about what the company looks like. So we're headquartered in Hayward, California. That's closest nearest big city is Oakland. We have there our global headquarters as well as a manufacturing facility dedicated to producing these nanowires and nanowire inks at large volumes. We also have some redundant capabilities in Chengzhou, China, where we actually produce the ink as well. So we'll send like concentrated materials from the US to China, and then they can be blended into various types of ink formulations for our customers there. And we have a small office also in Korea to look after our Korean customers and partners, and we have kind of sales and support across Asia. And just very recently, we installed our first sales engineer here in Europe, mostly to look at automotive applications, where of course there's lots of activity here in Europe. So I mentioned, these are kind of the four major verticals. That's why I really consider this to be a platform technology. And some of our publicly announced investors and partners are on these slides. So in the consumer electronics space, we've been working for many years with companies like Nitto Denko and Nisha, Hitachi Chemical, and others, really targeting, again, transparent conducting materials for new generation foldable, flexible electronics, and also even some rigid devices as well incorporate our technologies. And those of you who are familiar in the consumer electronics space and the touch sensor space in particular will likely know these names as kind of the market leaders. We were also very excited to recently announce a partnership and an investment from Element Solution and the Alpha Group that's also here. So thank you very much for that. We're going to be working together on some new interesting materials for the automotive market and others as well. Unfortunately, I can't talk about what we're doing in the life science space, but we have, I think, two of the largest medical device companies are partners, and one's an investor. We have some very interesting technologies that have already passed early stage clinical trials, and moving to another one that's actually moving towards a multi-billion-dollar type of opportunity where we're doing some smart sensor works, and some of the enabling parts of our technology that allow for some of these new biomedical devices to be made relies a lot around the processing and inherent stretchability of our material, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. And then finally, in clean tech, we have multiple different projects going on looking at smart window and solar applications. I'm hoping this will continue to grow as there's more and more emphasis on solar 2.0 and a lot of the thin film solar, so our material can be potentially a very good candidate for the transparent conductor, especially if you want to do everything roll to roll and from solution. So let me talk about the most fun part, the technology. So as I mentioned, we kind of do everything in-house when it comes from really making the nanomaterials all the way developing the inks. So we have a lot of expertise in making silver nanowires. We make them at the highest quality and highest yield we think of any company. And a lot of that has to do with, as those who are chemists know, a lot of times making a material is one thing, but purifying it's often where a lot of the challenges are. We came up with some very, we think, unique and elegant ways to purify nanomaterials in a really ESG kind of water-based, environmentally friendly method, as opposed to a lot of other things that are kind of out there. That also gives us, we think, a really strong strategic advantage when it comes to cost and scalability. So kind of an automated purification process. And then I'll talk